Sauerkraut. This is sauerkraut, surkål in Swedish. Sour cabbage, fermented cabbage. It's extremely healthy, has good bacteria, helps your gut. And today I'll show you how you can make your own homemade sauerkraut. And of course, since it's Oktoberfest times, we will also cook it with onion, bacon, apples and herbs. And we'll also have some sausages on the side. Of course, when you cook the sauerkraut, many or maybe all of the good bacteria dies, but it's still healthy, has a lot of fiber, and it's so tasty. Now, if this is the first time you see me, this is not a cooking channel. Not yet, anyway. I will kind of shoot from the hip while making this meal. It won't be any exact measurements or anything like that, but if you want a video to cook along with, I'll link one in the description. It's the video that is the main inspiration for this recipe. I've just changed it a little bit. But let's first start preparing the cabbage. To make sauerkraut, you'll need cabbage, knife and cutting board, salt. This is without iodine. You need a bowl and a beer. This is what we in Sweden call a cooking beer. You know, a beer while cooking the food. Let me know what a good English word for that is. Aing. This is a tricky one because I always get my expectations up so high. So this year, for instance, my first bottle of Festmälsen was a bit underwhelming. Let's see how this one is. Prost, cheers, skål. Now, it's fantastic again. It's bread crusty, it's nutty, it's refreshing. I think I expected more of the darker notes this year. I don't know why. You know, more figs and dark bread. I'll try to keep that in mind for next year. Time to take off the jacket, I think. So start by peeling off the outer layers of the cabbage until you get rid of all the leaves that look a little bit sad, like that one. Now it looks fresh, I think. You don't have to rinse it. It's so tightly packed that when you have peeled off a few layers, it's clean, you know. But of course you can rinse it if you want to. It doesn't hurt. Then we'll cut off the end. And then I usually cut it first in half and then in half one more time. And on one side we have kind of the stem, the root. I usually remove that. You can kind of cut it in small pieces if you want to. So let's do that on all the pieces. And then just cut each piece like this. And put it in the bowl. Don't forget to take a beer break between each piece. When I come to the end of the piece, when it starts getting hard cutting through, I turn it and continue cutting. This is just the way I do it. Not professional advice. Into the bowl. Here we have a bit of the stem or the root, and it doesn't split up in the same way. So then I just cut it in smaller pieces. As you can see, we are really filling up the bowl here. And you might be wondering, how is that possibly going to fit into one of those jars? Well, when we are finished, we will have squeezed out so much of the water, so it will take a lot less room. It's very fluffy and airy right now. Now we need to weigh the cabbage. I forgot to mention you need a household scale as well. But I also said this won't be a cook-along video. Alright, so the weight is 1200 grams. And then I will subtract the the weight of the bowl because I knew that beforehand. So it's just under 1 kilo. And then the salt should be 1.5% of the cabbage weight. So times 0.015, right? Yeah, so 14-15 grams of salt. It feels about right. And this salt, as I said, is without iodine. And some people say that will destroy the bacteria. And some people say it doesn't really matter. But just to be on the safe side, if you have access to salt without iodine, use that. So there's 15 grams. And we'll sprinkle it over the cabbage. Let it rain down. And I think you can kind of shake it a little bit like this. Make the salt go through a little bit. And then we'll give the cabbage just a quick, gentle massage. Mostly to spread the salt. We can mix the cabbage just a little bit. Actually, this part I'm a tiny bit uncertain of. But usually it works out pretty okay, I think. Eventually, we will start to really massage the cabbage and then squeeze out all of the water. But if you do that straight away, you have to do it for so long. If we let this rest now, it will start to release the water by itself. And then it will be enough with maybe 5-10 minutes of massage. So we'll let this rest for a while and start cooking the food. And for that we need the sauerkraut, onion, bacon. I was a bit lazy and bought already diced bacon. Apples, sugar, bay leaves, cloves. I think that's everything for the actual sauerkraut. And then sausages, bratwurst, of course. And this is a new kind for me, Nürnberger. It's like mini bratwurst with added herbs. I think we only need 1 apple, and I haven't decided which one I should use. This one I bought on the supermarket just to have something in case the others didn't taste good, because they are actually picked from gardens around my neighborhood. You know, if you have an apple tree, you get so many apples. So usually the homeowners, they put out baskets so anyone can pick an apple if they want to. And this one looks so tasty, but it doesn't smell anything. Very strange. And then we have this one with a very faint aroma. And I think it was this one. Oh, it smells amazing. It doesn't look the best though. But once we peel off the skin, it might be perfect. I think I'll actually have a bite on each one of them. I was a bit worried, but it's actually okay. It's not as sweet as it looks though. It definitely could work for this sauerkraut though. Let's take the green one. That didn't smell so much. This was good as well. Sometimes when you pick apples from, wild apple trees, they can be a bit both sour and bitter. And let's try the one that smelled so good. I need to try to remember where I picked this one. There is something very familiar with this kind. It's sour and so fresh, it almost goes into that soap territory. Not sweet either though. Yeah, I actually don't prefer this one. It had the best smell though. And then the supermarket one. This is the Royal Gala kind. If you want an apple in Sweden that always tastes good, you pick one of these. Definitely the sweetest one. But yeah, let's maybe mix these two then. It's fun with really local ingredients, right? So we'll take these beautiful leaves off, then peel off the skin, and then cut them in small dices. Alright, that was the last one. This might be too much, I'm not sure. Looks like this now. And then we will cut an onion. I think one will be perfect. And I think you should cut the onion, against the grains. That could be wrong though. We'll keep that in a bowl as well, just to be fancy. And then let's see how much of the sauerkraut we should use. I'm thinking maybe half. I haven't actually opened this one yet. It has been fermenting in room temperature for 2 weeks, and then it's been in the fridge for 1 week. Let's see if we can hear anything. It's a little psh. Yeah, it smells like it's ready. Now I know in some recipes you actually rinse the sauerkraut before you start cooking. I'm going to try not rinsing and keeping a bit of the sauerkraut water here. I think some people think it gets too sour that way. And this is actually the first time I'm using the homemade sauerkraut to make one of these meals. So I'll be the guinea pig and I'll let you know. Oh yes. Oh baby, baby. Yeah, half the jar seems perfect. I need to taste this straight away. It's so fresh, crisp, crunchy. So then I'm going to put on whatever this is called in English. And let's move over to the stove. So I'm adding the apples and some water. Stir it around. I add cloves in powder form. Add crushed bay leaves in a tea strainer. And make room for it in the middle. This is just my homemade solution. And then let it simmer. Then it's time to fry the bacon so that it starts to release the grease. And then we add the onions. And when the bacon starts to look crisp and the onion has some color, it's time to add it to the sauerkraut. So while we wait for the sauerkraut, let's make some new one. So now we're going to massage the cabbage and the salt. And I usually use gloves for that. It could start itching. So this is what it looks like now. I think it has sunken down even more just by itself. And then we need to get our hands down here and start massaging, squeezing it together. And you can see already how it's starting to release the water. It's dripping a little bit. Now it didn't stand a full hour even, so I need to work a bit harder here than usual. But it should go pretty fast still. I needed to stand up to get some more force. But I kind of press down as well. You start to get some foam as well. That's a good sign. So now that I have squeezed out a lot of the water, it takes up a lot less room. It's like maybe only half the size from the start. So it will definitely fit the jar. Then we start to put in the cabbage into the jar. It will get a bit messy. It always does. And then the water. My voice cracked. And then we'll press everything down. Now all the cabbage should be under the water to not be infected. And if you didn't manage to get enough water from the cabbage, you can fill a plastic bag on top it kind of creates a water lock. But I think I'll take my chances with this one. It looked good. Hello, this is me from the future. I even have new glasses. Pretty nice, right? In the video I'm interrupting, I was a bit overconfident. This is what the Sauerkraut looks like after around 10 days. You can see the color isn't the most appetizing. And this was the first time I didn't make one of those water locks. It looked like it was so much liquid on top of the cabbage, so it would protect from the air. But I think it quickly sunk to the bottom, and the cabbage started to be a bit infected. If you compare to the sauerkraut we use in the video, it's much paler and yeah, it looks more healthy in every way. So don't be like me. The easiest way to create one of these water locks is to put down a plastic bag into the jar, you fill it with water, and then you tie a knot. And that protects the cabbage from the air. So I need to smell this sauerkraut later, but maybe I need to throw everything away, or, well, put it in the compost. We'll see, but now back to the video. We'll put it on something, a plate or something, because it will create pressure and sometimes stuff will pour out on the sides. We'll put on a note with today's date so we can keep track. And then we'll keep this in room temperature in a dark, preferably some dark area of your apartment. You don't have to keep it for the whole 2 weeks, but it is what the professionals do. But it's already pretty sour around 4 or 5 days. So now I'll put this away and wait. So now that the sauerkraut has been simmering for almost an hour, it's time to cook the sausages. I first add some rapeseed oil, because that can handle higher temperatures. Then I lower the temperature and add the olive oil. And then just before the sausages, some butter as well. First the bratwurst, and then the smaller Nürnberger sausages. If this doesn't water your mouth, I don't know what. Huh? It smells so good. But I think we need to open the winner of the blind test recently. Hofbräu Oktoberfestbier. We'll see how it actually works together with some food. Woo! I think I will get the foam mustache now. Prost, cheers, skål. There is something about this beer. I know I'm not alone, but amongst, craft beer drinkers, this is usually not the favorite. I love it though. Okay, let's dig in. I won't eat a lot on camera, don't worry. Just a taste. That's really tasty. Maybe I could use just half the bay leaves next time, and more pepper, I think. Now I might want mustard, something like that. Let's see how the sausages taste. It's such a good combination. Yeah, and the Hofbräu works well together as well. I might make proper bacon next time, not by already sliced bacon. As I remember it from last year, I used regular organic bacon and it tasted better. Let's see about these Nürnberger sausages. Very nice with some more herbs and spices. The herbs are ginger and marjoram, amongst other things. But I still think I want a bit of mustard. This is a sweet, strong mustard. I think like the Bavarian one. Yeah, I like the addition of the mustard. It gave it some sweetness and some spicy sting. All in all, I'm very happy about how it turned out. Let me know your favorite sauerkraut recipe if you have one. And if you missed the Oktoberfest blind test, it's the video over here. Thank you for watching, and remember, drink responsibly!